So what are the key nutrients that play a vital role in boosting fertility?
If I have to answer this question in a few words, I'm going to say vitamin C, vitamin A, calcium, vitamin D, vitamin A, just the list, nothing that everybody has not already heard. But I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to tell our audience that a food based approach is much more effective and much more sustainable than a nutrient based approach. With the shift in our food choices, the changing lifestyle, and a lot of influence from media, we have unfortunately started diminishing food to just nutrients. But food is much more than that. It is, it evokes emotion, it nurtures, cares, satiates. Just to give you a simple example, every time I tell one of my clients to eat gulkand or include it in their diet, the immediate response I get is, oh my god, that's so much sugar, right? Every time I tell a client to eat cashews as a snack, the immediate response I get is, oh my god, that's so much cholesterol, right? If we look at food from the lens of single nutrients, that's what happens. However, gulkand as a food throughout pregnancy is amazing at beating acidity and preventing morning sickness. Cashews are rich in iron, zinc, calcium, all of which are important in maintaining skeletal health. It's important in boosting immunity, and it's also important for nurturing the growth of the baby and postpartum recovery. So if you're looking at food only through the lens of single nutrients, it's excellent for the profits of the food and pharma industry, but no good to individual health.
How does sugar consumption affect fertility and hormone balance? And not only for fertility, young girls are affected, and the period cycle and PCOS, everything is affected, and insulin resistance, it is all linked up, and it's early on, right? So how do you think this affects, and what are the early signs that we should look out for and make changes in our diet according to maintaining a good hormonal balance? I know I've asked you a lot, but everything is so correlated. I couldn't stop myself.
It is absolutely, and let me try to address all of those in case I miss out something. Do interject. So I'm gonna start by saying and telling you to see sugar in two ways. Okay. एक तो है जो हमारी चीनी, right? The simplest form that is in our kitchen, be it chini or khand or mishri, it's in all our kitchens. We all use it routinely. Yes, we are much scared about it today, but it's there. Yes? So chini in this form is not only safe but necessary. Right?
Okay.
It is necessary for hormone health. It is necessary for gut health. And it is absolutely necessary to in fact maintaining blood sugar levels. We at Food Nanny had done a research project, and we had also presented and published it for UFSN in 2022, and the study was in defense of sugar. The name of the study was in defense of sugar, and I can't say that enough because every time we hear sugar, we associate it with white poison. Direct poison is the word that we associate it with today. It's white poison, it's bad. Anything that can go wrong is because of sugar in today's time. Our study gave simple 4 guidelines to all the subjects who participated. These were no packaged processed foods as the first guideline. The second was drinking a homemade sharbat at noon time with sugar in it to your taste preference. Third guideline was eating a homemade sweet like a laddu or a chikki or a homemade halwa 1 to 2 days in the week as your evening snack. And the fourth and the last guideline was eating half a spoon of gulkand with warm water at bedtime. Following only these 4 guidelines, all subjects revealed amazing results in relation to blood sugar response, in relation to inch loss, in relation to be able to taper the medication that they were on, along with other benefits of better skin, better hair, reduced gut discomfort, right? So if we are eating sugar in the right manner, and few of the examples that I just spoke of through the guidelines, it is absolutely safe, and more than safe, it's necessary. It's a therapeutic food. It finds its mentions in Indian scriptures as, like, as long as 800 BC, if I'm not wrong. That's since when we've started using sugar, and we have had it in our diet. It's a part of our Panchamrits. Yes, what needs to be avoided and why the scare about sugar altogether? It is because we confuse this sugar, which is chini, khand, mishri, with a lot of artificial sweeteners that we use in ultra packaged foods, processed foods, in a lot of confectionery items, in a lot of chocolate bars, in a lot of breakfast cereal, chips, biscuits, namkeens. Anything that's ultra processed will have a form of sweetener, and that's exactly what needs to be avoided and out of our kitchens. Like, no redemption there, just out of the kitchen.
I have two other big issues, people talk about: caffeine and alcohol.
Yes.
How much do they affect, and should it be completely avoided?
A big strict no. No caffeine, no alcohol. Okay? And it's actually surprising that a lot of clients who come to me for conception, for planning, in early stages of pregnancy, before they've started planning pregnancy, just working towards a healthier lifestyle, they are ready to do everything. They're ready to do on a fat diet, they're ready to restrictively eat, they're ready to go on pills, getting procedures done. All of that is okay. But when it comes to alcohol, getting rid of that one glass is a big task. Yes? No smoking, no alcohol is my recommendation throughout.
Adding a no hookah and no vape, guys.
Absolutely. When it comes to fertility and pregnancy, going to places which has exposure to hookah or shisha or alcohol fumes, passive smoking, it has to be avoided. Another thing that happens in today's time, and is, I would say, inevitable, is the social image that we all have. Right? Everybody struggles with that. You go to a party, you don't want to drink. You've told yourself you are not going to drink. And that's a choice that you have made. You're not stopping yourself, that's just a choice that you have made. At the party, everybody is going to be like, okay, एक glass से क्या हो जाता है?
मेरे लिए पी ले एक sip.
हाँ, मेरे drink से एक sip ले ले. Right? It's purposeless. It's absolutely purposeless. So that's something that we also need to address, not only as individuals, as society, as a population, and just like for the health of ourselves and others.